What happens after the final breath? Does the self simply dissolve into a quiet void, or does it step through portals, vast, radiant gateways whose magnitude far surpasses human comprehension? Welcome, soul traveler, to the Ascension realm. Today we open a door not to fantasy, but to a mystical text that seeks to chart the unknown, the Bardo, known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This isn't just scripture, it's a spiritual survival guide for the soul. Imagine you're holding a flashlight as you journey into the deepest cave of human existence, death. The Bardo is that flashlight, not one of fear but of clarity, not of despair but of possibility. Let's start with this. Death in Tibetan Buddhism is not considered an ending. It is a beginning, and like all great beginnings, it's misunderstood. In the West, death is feared, avoided, whispered about in hospitals and hidden within funeral homes. But in Tibet, death is studied, anticipated, even rehearsed. Not morbidly, but mindfully. Why? Because they believe the moments after death may be the most important in your soul's entire journey. Let's step into the legend of the man behind this ancient teaching, Padmasambhava. In the 8th century, Tibet was a place of primal nature, ancient spirits, and raw spiritual power. Into this land arrived a mystic unlike any other, Padmasambhava, also called Guru Rinpoche, which means the precious master. He wasn't your average monk. He was a Mahasiddha, one who had not only understood the deepest truths of the mind, but mastered them. Think of him as a spiritual alchemist. He could transform suffering into wisdom, fear into awakening. He didn't conquer the old gods of Tibet with swords or sermons. He integrated them. Through tantra, ritual, and awareness, Padmasambhava took the wild, shamanic spirits of the land and brought them into harmony with Buddhist Dharma. It was spiritual Aikido. The result, Sami Monastery, the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet, and the birth of Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism, a tradition that sees the mind not as a prison, but as a key. From this lineage came the Bardo Thodol, a text so profound it was meant to be read aloud to the dying, not as a prayer, but as instructions. Imagine that. Your loved one is dying. You don't weep. You don't collapse. You pick up the Bardo Thodol. You read aloud. You become their guide, their anchor. The Bardo Thodol describes what happens between death and rebirth in a series of stages, or bardos. The word bardo simply means between, a transitional space. But don't be fooled. These transitions are anything but ordinary. There are 3 main bardos that unfold after death, and each is like a mirror, showing us not some external hell, but the landscapes of our own mind. 1. Chikai Bardo, the moment of death. This is where it begins. Your body fails, the breath stops, the senses go silent, but then something extraordinary happens. Consciousness is not extinguished, it is freed. What emerges is the primordial clear light, a vast radiant awareness that is your truest nature, pure, non-dual, infinite. If, in that moment, you recognize it, you're liberated. Instantly. No karma, no rebirth. You transcend. But here's the catch. Most of us don't. Why? Because our habits, fears, and identities rush in. We don't trust the light. We retreat, and that's when the journey continues. 2. Chonyid Bardo, the realm of visions. This bardo is where things get wild. You're no longer in your body. You're in a dreamlike dimension where your own mind becomes your reality. Peaceful deities appear, beings of light, compassion, and serenity. If you recognize them as your own higher nature, you merge with them. Another chance at liberation. But if you resist, they dissolve, and something else emerges. Wrathful deities, demonic, terrifying, chaotic. But here's the twist. These demons are also you. They are not here to punish. They're projections of your fear, your suppressed anger, your ego. If you face them with awareness, they dissolve. But if you run, the spiral continues. The teachings tell us all phenomena are projections of the mind, not metaphorically, literally. So what you see after death isn't a judgment by some deity. It's your own mind, turned inside out. Can you imagine facing every fear you've ever avoided? That is the Chonyid bardo. It's not hell, it's a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. 3. Sidpa bardo, the path to rebirth. Eventually, the illusions settle. The soul, still shaped by karma, begins to feel drawn, not by a god, but by resonance. You're pulled toward conditions that match your internal state. You see couples wrapped in love. You feel desire. You're drawn into a womb. A new life begins. Unless you awaken, this is the last chance. The Bardo Thodol says that if the soul can remain unattached, even here, it can avoid rebirth. But detachment in the face of craving is the ultimate test. The Sidpa Bardo reveals, we are reborn not because we must, but because we cling. So what's the point of all this? The Bardo Thodol isn't a book for the dying, it's a manual for the living. It urges us to ask, right now, are you ready to let go of everything you cling to? Your name, your face, your stories. Can you stare into the abyss and recognize it as your own reflection? Can you love without attachment? Can you live without fear? Padmasambhava didn't write this to scare us. He wrote it to empower us. He wanted us to practice awareness now, before the bardos arrive. Meditate, observe your thoughts, embrace impermanence, let go of ego. Be kind, not because it's moral, but because every act shapes the world you enter next. And love. Love deeply. Love wisely. Because in the bardos, it's love that becomes your compass. Ram Dass once said, when you die, there's only one question that matters. How much did you love? That question echoes through the bardos, through every life, every death, every return. So I ask you again, what happens after the final breath? Maybe the better question is, who are you becoming? If this journey stirred something inside you, share this video. Leave a comment. What do you believe happens after death? And if you're ready to explore the soul's journey further, subscribe. Together we'll walk this path of wonder, reflection, and awakening. Until next time, awaken, ascend, become